the next bit of wisdom I want to share is ancient wisdom. It comes from the hang it comes from the Torah, the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, the 5 books of Moses, and sets the stage for Judeo-Christian thinking about the value of confronting mortality. So when we get to this idea in our contemporary lives that fear gets in the way of talking about death, we're afraid to talk about it. We shouldn't talk about it because, we have superstitions that it might bring things to fruition sooner than we're ready. I like to take us back to this ancient wisdom in which we see the story of a biblical patriarch confronting his mortality, clarifying his wishes, right? Thinking about his values and what's important to him, and communicating that to his child and asking his child to honor his wishes. This is, in essence, perhaps an early example of an ethical will, the communication of values for the next generation, but really of advanced care planning, of communicating what I want to happen as my health moves me toward end of life, and asking someone to take responsibility, in essence, a healthcare proxy, a healthcare agent, for making sure that what I want to happen will happen. So I'll read for us. Jacob, patriarch Jacob in the Bible, lived 17 years in the land of Egypt. So it's setting the stage of where he has been in recent years. And the span of Jacob's life came to 147. In the Bible, we see people living much longer lifespans than we have today. We may understand time to have been counted differently. The specific number of years is less important. What's important is to understand that he's been living in a certain place as he's reaching the end of his life. And when the time approached for him, for Jacob, whose name is also Israel in the Bible, his name was changed at a point in his life. When the time approached for Jacob to die, so he knows that he's nearing end of life, he summoned his son Joseph, and he said to his son, "Do me this favor, place your hand under my thigh as a pledge." So this was, in ancient times, a way of pinky swearing, of making a promise, of taking a vow, right? Putting a hand under a thigh. So a specific action, but promise me, do not bury me in Egypt. So we see that Jacob's been living in a certain place. He knows he's nearing the end of his life, and he doesn't want to be left buried in this place that he's been only for a short period of his life near the end. He continues, "When I lie down with my fathers," which is the biblical euphemism when we're gathered with our ancestors. That's the language used to mean death in the Bible. "When I lie down with my fathers, take me up from Egypt, take my body from the place where I've died, and bury me in their burial place. Bury me in the family plot. Don't leave me in the place that I wind up in when I die. Bring me back to where I can be literally gathered with my ancestors." And Joseph, his son, replies, "I will do as you have spoken." Joseph takes in his father's request, but his father's talking to him about his own death, and his son says, "Okay, Dad, I will do what you want." Now, I imagine that some of you have had these experiences, whether in your own life or your professional work, right, of a parent communicating to an adult child or someone else, "This is what I want," and the child or someone else taking on the responsibility. And what I want to show here is ancient wisdom for what we do as the right way of taking care of things in a contemporary setting, right? So we have the ancients recommending to us that we talk about the reality that we're going to die. We think about what we want to happen to our body after we die, and we ask someone to make sure that that happens. We put plans into place. I wonder if any of you have thought about this idea beyond advanced care planning, what my healthcare wishes are going to be, what's going to happen to my body after I die, and if you have communicated that to anyone who will have the ability to enact your plans. Perhaps you've prepaid for your funeral arrangements, you've arranged a cremation, Um, what do you think about this ancient idea of talking about it while we have the ability, communicating our wishes, and taking care of the plans for what's going to happen to our body?